Hello, welcome back to my channel. I know it has been a while since I have been here. A lot has happened since giving birth. The baby is almost 1 now. And so I thought what better way to pick back up making my videos than with the birth story of the baby. I took some notes because I don't want to leave any details out. This is like my 3rd time filming this. I'm a little bit frustrated, if I had to be quite honest, because I have to keep refilming, but we're gonna try. 3rd time's a charm. My children are playing in the living room, so if you can hear them talking and playing and yelling, excuse that, because I tried to keep them quiet, but it's impossible. I tried to film before they woke up. They woke up. So I want to touch on some of the things that I had gone through leading up to the birth, because all of this plays a crucial role in how things played out. You feel me? So I did plan a home birth. So I did invest in a midwife. Insurance does not cover midwives, so I had to pay out of pocket for my midwife. I did start with one midwife, but things went terribly with this midwife. I fired her and I got another midwife who I was 100% happy with. So I had already dealt with general anxiety, right? It was under control when I got pregnant though. But around 7 months into my pregnancy, my dad had abruptly passed away. My anxiety is up to here at this point. A lot is going on, right? So as I'm dealing with that, 2 weeks after learning about my dad's passing, I go to get my 32-week growth scan. Now, I have a midwife and I had a home birth planned, right? So it was time for me to get a growth scan, my second growth scan. When you really do home births, it's less invasive. They're not really, you don't have to go to as many appointments. They're not probing you and stuff. So I had to get a growth scan at 32 weeks. As I am at this hospital, they performed the growth scan. After they performed the growth scan, they told me that he was too small. They are saying that he had what they call IUGR, which is intrauterine growth restriction. Basically, he's not growing the way he should. Something is preventing him from growing and something's wrong. And so the doctor calls me and she's like, mind you, before I even got these results, before I even had this conversation, they were like, oh, you're not with any of the OBs at this hospital. And so I'm like, yeah, I got a midwife. She's like, why you got a midwife? I'm like, because I'm planning a home birth. She's like, yeah, we're just going to take you to the front and the doctor's going to talk to you about certain things. So the doctor tells me, yeah, no, he's growth restricted. He's too small. I don't think you should do a home birth. I'm going to advise against a home birth. Like, I don't even know why you're even trying to do a home birth, pretty much. And so at this point, I'm just like, okay, like, I'm like, it's so much going on. I'm overwhelmed. Like, I had just lost my dad. Now they're telling me that something's wrong with my pregnancy. Something's wrong with the baby. At this point, I break down. I'm just overwhelmed. I'm crying. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, it was a lot happening, and I just did not know how to process it at all. So I had to get 2 ultrasounds and 2 non-stress tests a week. I had to get a biophysical profile, which is where they measure the organs and look at everything to make sure everything is working properly, as well as testing the movements of the baby to make sure he was moving a certain amount of times within a certain time frame. Now, every time I would go and get an NST, I would fail. He would fail. He wasn't moving enough to their standards. I kept telling them that the time of day that y'all were scheduling me for these NSTs, he does not like to move. This is his downtime. He is active like around 5 and like in the evening. That's his time to be active and move around. So anyways, I failed these NSTs. I go get the ultrasounds though, and they're saying that his organs and everything else was normal, working normally, working fine. They don't see anything wrong. And so I'm like, okay, well, they're saying everything's fine in that way. How is he growth restricted? Anyways, my midwife needed me to get another growth scan around 1 to 2 weeks, and they had refused, right? They said they were not going to schedule another growth scan because they didn't feel ready. And they had pretty much decided that I was not going to have a home birth. Like, we need you to switch to our doctors. You're not having this home birth. So my midwife was like, okay, well, we're going to send you to another hospital and they're going to test. They're going to do the growth scan for me. They said they do it. So I went to the other hospital. They do the growth scan. Not only is his development fine, they said that his size is normal. they're saying that they don't see any signs of IUGR. He's measuring pretty much along the same as my other kids who were born perfectly healthy. And so at this point, I'm just confused. I'm getting two conflicting results. And so my wife was like, to be on the safe side, we're just going to assume that he is still measuring too small, and we're going to keep doing the things that we need to do. I continue to get the BPPs and the non-stress tests twice a week. And again, he's failing the movement test because he does not want to move this time of day. Even if I drink cold things and eat sweet things, like he just was lazy. But the ultrasounds were all normal. I meet with the high-risk doctor, and she tells me, this is a different doctor than a doctor who's overseeing the ultrasounds and who was saying I didn't need to have a home birth. But this doctor who I met with, she's like, so I'm looking at everything, and she's like, if I had to be honest, I don't think that there's anything wrong with the baby. This doctor is telling me this. I don't think there's anything wrong with the baby. I guess since the other doctor basically is saying these things, you might want to still consider transferring over to this hospital, but I just think that you are a small girl, because I am small, and I just think you are not going to carry huge babies. And then she told me that the standard of the size of the baby changes with like the average. Like they said, the size is based off average, and I'm not really average size, so they were saying that she thinks that he's just conventionally small. That's what she said. I just think he's just not that big of a baby. I get the growth scan. They're saying that though, this was before I had the second growth scan. So I got the second growth scan, and they're saying that again, he's too small. He's 5 pounds or 4 pounds, way too small at 36 weeks. And I need to schedule my C-section. I need to go talk to the doctor about scheduling it, and I'm just like, I don't want to schedule a C-section. So my midwife gets the results, and she's like, babies don't shrink. Why is it that they're getting this size and the other hospital just got a 6+ pound measurement? What are they talking about? Nope, you're going back to the other hospital. Let's go back to the other hospital, because I feel like something's going on. So I go to the other hospital, and they measure him again at 37 weeks, and normal. Everything's normal. They're saying, I don't know what the other hospital's finding. This is a normal baby. He's not huge, but you're not huge. This baby is measuring normal. So my midwife sits me down, and she has a conversation with me. She's like, I just need to cover all bases with you. If you want to transfer to this hospital, we can transfer to the hospital. I will no longer be your primary care provider for your pregnancy, but I will be your doula at this point. So I will still support you. They will just be in charge of everything else going on. I'm like, no. I don't like that hospital. Mind you, I'm going to rewind a little bit. He was supposed to be a surprise gender, right? And so as I'm having the last growth scan at this hospital, at the hospital that's measuring small, I tell the ultrasound tech, I'm like, he's a surprise. The baby's a surprise. I don't want to know the gender. And she tells me anyway, you're having a boy. See, here's his testicle. I was just so irritated. Mind you, I had already known and felt that I was carrying a boy. Like, we knew he was a boy just based off how we felt. But I wanted to know for sure when he was born. I didn't want no one telling me. So, but I told my wife, I'm like, no, because I'm still really, I just, things didn't seem right with this other hospital, this first hospital. Things just seemed off with them. After, I meet with my midwife. So she checked me at that appointment, the conversation where I had with the midwife. She's like, okay, you're going to stay with me. All right, fine. We're going to do everything we can possible. Make sure we have everything in place in case you need to get transferred. And so she checks me, and I'm 4 centimeters. I'm 4 centimeters dilated at this point. This was like a Saturday. She was like, I'm not going to be available Sunday and Monday, but I really hope you go into labor Tuesday, because I want to be the one to be there when, to check the baby, to care for the baby, anytime after Tuesday. And it's funny because I'm 37 weeks at this point. I would have been 38 weeks on Wednesday, but on Tuesday, which is 37 weeks and 6 days, I wake up at 5 a.m., right? And these contractions, they feel a little different. Like I was having Braxton Hicks contractions every other day, which was pretty normal for me. But this day, the contractions felt a little different. These contractions felt a little different. And so I wake up my husband at 4 a.m. and I'm like, I think we should clean. Like I just had this overwhelming urge at 4 a.m. to clean. I wake him up. I'm like, babe, I think the baby might come today because these contractions, they don't hurt, but they feel a little off. Let me just clean. And so we get up and we clean for a good 45 minutes to an hour. And at around 5 or 6, I don't really remember the times like that, but around 5 or 6, he lays down, he goes back to sleep, and I'm just laying there listening to my affirmations, my birth affirmations. My baby's healthy, I'm healthy, my body knows what it's doing, I am safe, God is protecting me, all of that. And I remember calling my sister and I'm just like, I think this baby's coming today. So at around 8, I tell my husband, I'm like, this baby I think might come today. But I really want some scones. Like I'm really craving some blueberry scones. So I'm like, babe, take me to Whole Foods, please, because I really want some scones. He's like, you want some scones and you might be in labor right now? I'm like, yes, like, please take me. So we get in the car, me and my husband and the kids get in the car, we driving to Whole Foods. He's like, you want me to call a midwife? I'm like, no, I'm cool. The contractions are still there, but I'm cool. Like, I'm chilling. You see what I'm saying? So we get to the store and the contractions pick up a little bit. Like I kind of have to pause as I'm having a contraction, but I'm still cool. He like, you want me to call the midwife? I'm like, no, I'm good. He like, yeah, no, I'm gonna call the midwife because I don't know what you. So he's on the phone with the midwife on his way inside the store to get my scones, and I'm just sitting in the car and I'm talking to my mom on video chat. And I remember, like, at that moment as I'm talking to my mom, the contractions just start slowly just progressing. And I'm telling my mom, I'm like, Mom, I think this baby coming today. She's excited. You want me to come over? I'm like, no. So I tell my mom, I'm like, I already told both of you. I already told both of our moms, like, I'm going to be by myself. I want to be alone with my family. You guys can come after I have the baby. So we are driving home and the contractions, they just pick up. At this point, I have to squeeze my husband's hand and I have to breathe through the contractions. Mind you, by the time he got to the car, I didn't even want those scones anymore. Holding his hand, we're driving home. As soon as we get home, I go upstairs and I just start to labor on my birthing ball. I'm just rolling back and forth, trying to relax and lay on the ball while my husband is prepping the bathroom because I want to get in the shower. The warm water was relaxing to me. So I get in the shower. So I'm on the ball and he's prepping the shower. As soon as he finishes, I'm like, I instantly want to go to the shower. So I instantly get up. I go to the shower. I'm leaning on my ball, but my lower half is in the tub with the shower just showering on me. Probably like a minute after getting in there, my water breaks. And in my mind, I'm like, these contractions, they about to pick up. I already know because that cushion is gone from the water. And I'm like, babe, my water broke. He comes in there and he sits on the edge of the tub. He's talking to the midwife. He's like, yeah, her water broke. She like, yeah, this baby's coming. My midwife is like, we're coming. We're on the way. Da, da, da. I'm leaning over my husband. I'm laying in his lap because I just want him at this point. And he's just rubbing my back and he's coaching me. He's affirming me. He's like, babe, you got this. I need to finish up this video because he's getting upset. He's with my mother-in-law right now. I just remember my water breaking and my husband affirming me through it. The midwives are on the way, but he's just like, babe, you got this. And I'm like, babe, he's coming. Like, I have to push because I had to push as soon as my water broke. I'm like, he's coming, like, right now. So my husband's like, all right, babe, just push when you feel ready. I got you. I start pushing and he's like, you know, keep going. I don't see the baby yet. I got him out in 3 pushes. So around the second push, he's like, I see his head. Keep going, babe. He's right there. He's rubbing the baby's head. He's like, he's getting ready to catch the baby. 2 more pushes left. The baby's out. He delivered the baby himself. Well, we delivered the baby together. Like, I pushed and he like caught the baby. He affirmed me. He checked the baby and stuff. He handed me the baby. He's talking to the baby. The baby's just in my arms, just chilling. I just gave birth. Like, he had them. The midwives weren't there yet, so this was an unassisted birth, unintentionally. He goes and gets the towels, and he walks me and the baby back to the room. I sit on the bed. I have a picture of that. I didn't record it because my labor, from the start of the contractions to giving birth, it was about an hour. So I'm sitting on the bed at this point. I'm like, wow, like I really had this baby. And so I was just so tired, so exhausted. The midwives, they finally show up maybe like 15, 20 minutes later. They clean me up. They help me get the placenta out, like deliver the placenta. They clean him up and they measure him. He was 6 pounds, 8 ounces. He was perfectly healthy, mind you. Like, he was like, there was nothing wrong. Like, the other hospital was pretty much right on the money with his weight. So he was 6 pounds. They say he was 6 pounds, 5 ounces. But when I gave birth, he was 6 pounds, 8 ounces. And I had him at 37 weeks and 6 days. So had I went to 39 weeks or 40 weeks, he would have been a decent sized baby. He was a decent size when he came out. Like, he was healthy. But like, he would have been over 6 pounds if I went all the way to like my due date. I just remember just thanking God, just being grateful. And my midwife was like, I don't see a growth restricted baby. I don't know what they were talking about. He is a perfectly healthy baby. He looks beautiful. He looks great. And I'm just relieved, just recovering at this point. And I'm just so grateful. And me and the kids are in the bed chilling. Mind you, my daughter, she was 5 and she was just such, like, she was so sweet. She was so interested. She was rubbing my back, rubbing my head while I was in labor, comforting me too, along with my husband. My son, he was on the phone with my mom. He's like, Mom's having a baby, da, da, da. And so he leaves because he's like, I guess it's too much for him. But my daughter, she's just there. And she just did great. The children are getting acquainted with the baby. We're in the bed just bonding as a family. I was just so grateful. Everything was so beautiful. It was hands down my favorite birth. Aside from everything that they said was going wrong, birth-wise, it was my favorite birth. He is exclusively breastfed. Again, he's almost 1 now. So if you want a video on my breastfeeding journey, I will upload that soon. My dad was supposed to make it to his birth. He said, because he had missed my other 2 children being born, and he was like, I'm not missing this one. He had a ticket bought and everything, and he just passed away just abruptly. And so that was kind of like, kind of bittersweet. Everything happens for a reason. I know in spirit, he's there. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I'll be uploading a breastfeeding video soon because now that he's almost 1, I've exclusively breastfed, and it's been a journey, but it's been a successful one nonetheless. So I just want to help any moms who just need any advice or just want to know what it's like, to breastfeed. If you're watching this and you are expecting a baby, I wish you the safest delivery, the healthiest baby, the happiest of happiness. You feel me? Like, I am praying that all you moms are safe and healthy. Your babies are safe and healthy. Again, thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.